Hi, beautiful people. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius, it is about truth. It is about awareness. It is about the collective. And luckily, this full moon, there are no harsh aspects directly on the full moon. However, there is a Saturn Mars opposition that's going to take place during this full moon, but we're also seeing a very, very big air trine with Mars, Uranus, and Pluto. That is like the first in a lifetime, so very, very special. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you already have. Thank you so much for joining. I also offer personal astrology sessions. You'll find a link for that in the description box below. So let me know where you are watching this from and how you're feeling the full moon portal that's already opening up in our lives currently. So let's take a look at today's presentation. So Aquarius, it's about liberation and authenticity. Aquarius really urges us to break free from our roles, from our relationships, from patterns that actually have been stifling our individuality. And the full moon often highlights where we've been conforming, and it really invites us to reclaim our unique voice. So yeah, even if that like means going against the grain. So Uranus is of course the ruler of Aquarius, and this is the first full moon with Uranus shifting signs. It's shifted into Gemini, so very, very special full moon that we're about to witness. Aquarius, of course, also rules over our community and over the collective responsibility. So it's actually time to reflect on our roles within groups that can be friends, networks, some kind of organization that you're part of. And it's going to ask us, does this community still align with my values? And you might experience a shift in your social circles, or you might feel called to contribute to causes that are bigger than yourself. So Aquarius is also about our future vision. It is about innovation. Aquarius thinks outside of the box and it looks ahead. So a lot of people who have a sun sign or a rising sign in Aquarius, they are a bit ahead of their time. Sometimes they are being viewed as a little bit weird, strange, or just simply different than like the normies, even though I don't really like to use that word. But the full moon is also about sudden insights. It can be about awakenings, technological advancements, or even some sudden radical ideas that might surface into the collective consciousness. So we are going to see breakthroughs in science and media and activism and humanitarianism, or any other forward-thinking project. So Aquarius is also a little bit detached. So it's also about emotional detachment and objectivity. Aquarius is emotionally very, very cool, and it values logic over sentiment. And the full moon is going to ask us to take a bird's eye view of our current emotional landscape. So take a step back, and instead of reacting impulsively, it encourages thoughtful detachment and also a higher perspective and awareness in that. So Aquarius, of course, also rules over rebellion. So it's actually breaking the rules for a cause. So if you've been playing it safe, you're going to feel pushed to maybe take a stand or make an unconventional move, especially in service to the collective future vision. It's actually about revolution, but with a purpose, not just rebellion for the sake of rebellion. So a full moon in Aquarius, it is about our cosmic cue to actually liberate, to innovate, and also to align with our higher ideals, even if that means walking our own path. And of course, the rulers of this full moon are Uranus and Saturn. Aquarius is connected to the 11th house, and it's the opposite sign of Leo. So currently we're seeing a Mercury retrograde happening in the sign of Leo as well. This is weaved into this full moon, and I'm gonna highlight that a little bit later during this video. And hi, Blue Moon Rising. So let's take a look at the chart for this full moon. So The full moon happens on August the 9th. It marks a culmination point, a moment of heightened awareness, release, revelation, especially revelation of truths that are gonna pop up. It's very significant because it falls near the midpoint of the fixed signs. And fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So those with personal planets or angles between 14 or 18 degrees of the fixed signs will really feel this energy most intensely. But also early degrees, Gemini risings or Gemini suns. If you have a Gemini sun or rising between 0 or 3 degrees, you're also going to get very highly activated due to Uranus in Gemini, the modern ruler of this full moon. So something major is going to be illuminated. Something major can be closed out, or something can shift very radically. It could mean the end of a cycle. It can be a job, a relationship, a living situation. It can be about your mindset, depending on where the full moon happens for you. And I'm going to walk you through each of the 12 signs later in this video. But all the things that no longer fit you, who you're becoming, they're going to fall away. So, and just know that the fixed signs, they tend to resist change, but the lunation here really offers the clarity and also the push that's needed to evolve. And breakthroughs are going to come with some emotional discomfort. Just know that that's natural and normal during this full moon. And also watch for decisions that must be made. And if you felt stuck, stagnant, the full moon is really demanding courage and honesty and action. So also trust what's being released now, that is creating space for something that is more aligned with your future self and the purpose of the whole collective as well. So Aquarius, of course, is the zodiac's visionary rebel. It rules over progress, innovation, groups, invisible networks, the collective mind, and emotions might take on a more detached tone during this time. We become observers of our emotional reality, and we're going to be more easier or more able to see patterns and systems at play. And what's the undercurrent motivation and the undercurrent motion in that. So it's about breaking free from these outdated habits and also aligning with a more future-oriented version of ourselves. So Aquarius energy, it really encourages to think differently, to connect with our community, and also to be brave enough to live outside of the norm. Like, embrace your weirdness during this time. It's so important, your unique self, your authenticity. Just by being yourself, you can even innovate into collective consciousness. So that's what our task during this full moon, and they always bring some things to light. It can be a moment of big revelation of truth. It can be a very big moment or a big decision that you need to make. And the sun is, of course, in Leo. There's a powerful tug of war between the needs of groups, Aquarius, and the needs of the collective versus the expression of the individual self, which is Leo. And this lunation is about, where do I belong and how can my uniqueness serve a larger purpose? And the spotlight is really on community, on freedom, and on our personal truth. So truth is very, very big in this full moon. We have Pluto in Aquarius, we have Uranus in Gemini, we have Mars forming a trine to both Uranus and Pluto, and then a full moon in Aquarius. Oh my God, there's going to be some very, very big revelation that's going to ruffle all feathers. There's actually a very big cosmic party going on in the sky, as you can see here in the chart. And we know Aquarius rules weirdness. Like, look at Trine Atlas that's hovering through our solar system as we speak. They thought that it was a comet, but it's actually lost its tail. So it's not a comet anymore. They're actually trying to figure out what it truly is. And that's so cool about the Aquarius full moon. And it's the Trine Atlas. It flew in from the point of the Great Attractor into our solar system. And the point of the Great Attractor, it's located at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. So that's where it came in from. So the Great Attractor in astrology resembles the bending of time and space, and it's actually a point of destiny and also spiritual awakening. And it is a very, very important place in our galactic and in our solar system, actually. So people who are born with 14 degrees of Sagittarius, they actually have a very distant spiritual path. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm born with Jupiter in Sagittarius on 15 degrees of Sagittarius in the third house of communication and talking. So Sagittarius and Jupiter and Sag is, of course, about sharing wisdom. It's about being able to tap into the energy of the Great Attractor. It is a very distant spiritual path that is actually being laid out for you. And if you have any planet, any angle, any important planetary thing around those degrees, then you're really going to be implicated. So it's also one of the reasons that I'm on here speaking to you guys about the wisdom of the planets. And the fact that something is flying in our solar system directly from the Great Attractor means that we are actually getting an upgrade in our collective consciousness about what's possible and also about who else is out there. Because I think the truth about 3i Atlas is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, and astrophysics are actually baffled about it, because normally a comet, it turns and bends around the sun, but not this time. This time it looks like it's going straight in and it's going straight out of our solar system. So it makes you wonder where they are going to, right? And this has never happened before. And I think it's also a sign of new wisdom and new truth coming forth about our existence and also about the existence of other beings, existence of other solar systems and what's happening in that. And on top of that, the sun is also currently making a trine to the full... The sun is actually currently trining the Great Attractor. So the sun is making a trine, the full moon in Aquarius is going to make a sextile to 14 degrees of Sagittarius to the Great Attractor. So what a beautiful synchronicity, and the fact that this comes up right now, that is like so meant to be. It really puts an emphasis on the weirdness and also on the ancient truth and also about the wisdom of our galaxy. And it really raises the questions in the mainstream media right now about, are there other beings out there? And the understanding about our galaxy is about to change, you guys, and we will most likely learn more truth about these intergalactic beings, about this ancient technology that's already been existing for like thousands and thousands of years. And we also see in the chart that Saturn and Neptune are very, very close to each other. They are actually within 1 degree right now. And if you look back at historic cycles, Saturn and Neptune, they are always linked to strange phenomena in the sky, things that we're witnessing in the sky that we cannot explain. So it's actually a preview right now about what's to come in February 20th, 2026, when Saturn and Neptune are going to make an exact conjunction in the sky. So yeah, exciting times for sure. And something else that I also want to highlight under this full moon truth, awakening, awareness aspect in the sky, it is something about the Lion's portal, the Lion's gate that we are about to see on the 8th of August. I know what I'm about to say is going to trigger some people, but the truth needs to be released under a full moon in Aquarius. And truth is that Lion's Gate, it does not exist. If you are a well-trained astrologer, you know this. It's very easy to see. You can simply look at the chart. It's actually a made-up concept from the 90s. And I see so many spiritual people who have such a big following posting about the Lion's Gate portal. And although I know that these people have very pure intentions, it is simply not true. And the sun is not conjunct Sirius, as we can see here in the chart. Sirius, it is located at 14 degrees of Cancer. So that is actually a fixed star. It is connected to ancient Egypt, to Isis, to Osiris as well. But the sun is in Leo right now. So yeah, however, like this year, Jupiter is conjunct the fixed star Sirius. We can see it here in the chart. Jupiter right now is at 13 degrees. Today, I think during the full moon, it will be at 14 degrees, or it's going to shift over. And Jupiter, it is about higher wisdom. Jupiter is about spirituality, being able to look at the bigger picture. It is about channeling wisdom, about spiritual messages. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't like meditate and channel any beautiful energy from the Syrians. No, just like do your rituals, call in the higher power. I do believe in star seeds. They are out there. And yeah, it's just this moon, it is, yeah, actually in conjunct the fixed star Sirius. So 150-degree aspect is actually, yeah, it's difficult energy. They do not correlate with each other. I think this is also a reason why the truth about the Lionsgate portal is coming up more and more, even though a lot of people still, yeah, are falling for like the new age spiritual delusion, if I can call it like that. And Jupiter and Venus, they are about to make a very beautiful conjunction in the sky. And that's going to happen at 14 degrees of Cancer, exactly conjunct to fixed star Sirius. Isn't that like awesome? Because this year, actually, ironically, it is a good time to channel the Sirian energy. And last time Venus, Jupiter were together in a beautiful conjunction in Cancer, that happened 12 years ago. And the exact conjunction happens on the 11th and the 12th of August. So if you want to channel anything in regards to the Lionsgate portal, in regards to Syrian energy, the fixed star, then you can actually do that this year, but on the 11th and the 12th of August. Then we're seeing the Venus-Jupiter conjunction at 14 degrees of Cancer, exactly conjunct the fixed star Sirius. So yeah, just don't call it Lionsgate, because it does not exist. And some other spiritual influencers are also saying that the full moon is happening during the Lionsgate portal. Well, the Lionsgate portal, it is on the 8th of August. The full moon happens on the 9th of August. The only country where the full moon in Aquarius is going to happen on the 8th, that is solely for people who live in Hawaii. So I also wanted to share that along with all the popular hyping influencers who are actually, yeah, not being able to read an astrology chart. And I do, however, want to emphasize again that I do know that these people have very, very pure intentions. And I'm not saying you shouldn't meditate on that. Definitely do that. But yeah, it is just Aquarius. It is about truth. So you guys, it is important to share. And the fixed star of Sirius, it is connected to ancient Egypt. I wouldn't be surprised if some long lost knowledge in regards to Egypt comes up. This could actually be the full moon where AI really succeeds in translating some old texts, some old hieroglyphs, and some people will say it's connected to the Lionsgate portal, but now you know that it will be because of the full moon in Aquarius and because of Venus-Jupiter conjunction at the fixed star of Sirius. And Stain says, hi Stain, the Syrian Stargate is always available, not just on the 8th of August. Due to the increased intention to this date, collectively we attract and direct more energy towards it, just like on our own birthday. Yeah, that's actually beautifully said, Stain. That is so, so true. I just like wanted to share the truth on the whole hype and yeah, not saying you shouldn't call in the Syrian beautiful energy, but yeah, just remember Jupiter and Venus in the back of your mind when you're doing some meditations on that. So to go back to our full moon chart, we're gonna look a bit at 16 degrees of Aquarius, because in the degree theory based on Nicholas Stojanovic, 16 degrees of any sign, it does correlate with Cancer energy. So this really adds a layer of emotional depth, even though Aquarius is normally very emotionally detached. So It is about protectiveness, also about home-centered consciousness, to this otherwise more cold, detached Aquarius full moon. So it can be a little bit different, especially if you're an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising. This full moon can be a little bit more emotionally for you than you're normally used to. So Cancer's influence is really a very heartfelt sensitivity, can be a need for safety within the collective. And there's also like this emotional undercurrent that is often, hidden away from Aquarius cool surface. So there can be a little bit struggle between feeling and thinking during this new full moon, and there can also be a little bit of tension between personal security, which is Cancer, and also the collective liberation that's currently ongoing, and that resembles Aquarius. So it can be a desire to protect your community, to protect your chosen family. There can also be emotional flashbacks or some triggers in your memory that, that make some revelations and how you how you need to reshape your role within social circles. There can also be a sudden need for safety or nurturing, even as you push for your independence, or even if you push for radical change. Like radical change needs nurturing as well. Even the biggest rebels need to come home, have a meal, and share it with their loved ones. So in order for them to keep them going. So there can be an internal conflict between emotional attachment and also the need to break free. And if we then look to the Sabian symbol, which is very interesting for this full moon, it says a watchdog standing guard, protecting his master and his possession. So there's a very powerful image that actually speaks to guardianship, to loyalty, and also to the defense of what matters most to us. So there's also a deeper question here, like what are we actually protecting? Is it our truth? Or is it outdated systems that are built on fear and control that are currently collapsing that we try to protect? It's about themes of surveillance, digital privacy that we need to protect. It's also about state authority, national defense, because of the 16-degree Cancerian undertone. All these themes might flare up. So Aquarius, it governs network systems. So actually paired with this watchdog symbol, it is like the need to re-examine power, re-examine protection, and also our responsibility, like who is watching whom? And are we guarding each other, or are we preserving these systems that actually no longer reflects our values and the values of the collective? A very, very potent moment for activism, for whistleblowing, and also for challenging the status quo. It is actually about protecting the masses against the powerful. So take a look at how we can protect the collective against the ones who actually try to steal from us. The elite, of course. And every symbol, every Sabian symbol has a darker side as well. So even though some truths can be exposed, some big revelations can be made with Aquarius and this full moon, some people are gonna be as loyal as a dog, still protecting the elite, still protecting the systems that are failing, and you then know which or like who, like you're gonna see who is which dog, or how do I say it correctly? Like you're gonna see two types of dogs: the ones that are gonna be barking at the ones that are stealing from us, and the ones that are gonna be very loyal and licking licking the feet of the people who are actually trying to steal from us. So I was trying to think about how I can say it in a polite way. So on a personal level, the symbol really can spark a sudden instinct to protect our peace, to protect our values and our emotional boundaries as well. So really trust your intuition, but avoid slipping into suspicion. Also know that not all threats are real. Protect what truly matters without becoming prisoners of our fear. Loyalty is very, very noble when it's aligned with integrity. And clarity is the real security. And just know that your inner watchdog knows when it's time to bark. if we then look at some aspects of this full moon, we see a very beautiful air trine. This is so cool. Air is about ideas. So yeah, new inventions. It's the first time that planet Mars is going to make a trine to Uranus and Pluto. This is like the first in a lifetime, very, very special. And of course, Mars just jumped into Libra. It is about fighting for justice, fighting for diplomacy, can definitely give some tensions in relationships. For sure, it's opposite Saturn and Neptune. So this is a harsher aspect. We see a very big kite pattern appearing in the sky. So it's actually the universe saying it is time to fly high. Collectively, things might come down and crash a little bit as well. And we're going to definitely see that happening because the kite pattern is involved on the world axis points. So that is actually 0 degrees of Aries and Libra, and also, of course, Cancer and Capricorn, but they are not in the mix here. It's definitely about our individuality and people who are triggering that, and maybe some people who are frustrated and like frustrations of other people really implicating our individuality, and we are going to need to draw some boundaries for sure. With the beautiful air trine, the 3 planets form a very powerful triangle in the sky. It is actually connecting intellect, power, and innovation. And air signs, they rule over the mind, over communication, and the collective thinking. So this trine really supercharges clarity, sudden conversations, and getting insights by them. And it's going to create beneficial energy and problem solving. So Uranus in Gemini, of course, sparks a lot of innovation in technology, transportation, and ideas. And Mars in Libra really channels that energy into action through partnerships and also through diplomacy. So it's a very, very rare moment where radical insight can really translate into real big forward momentum. So if you've been waiting for the right moment to launch something bold or to gather some allies for a bigger cause, then this is it. This is your moment. This can be a lightning bolt of clarity, sudden improvements in communications, breakthroughs, an inspiration to start a new collaborative project, new energy being injected into I was gonna say, all the things that are happening in Gaza, that is gonna come up big time. We need to like really get this to a hold, and I think we're gonna see some very big new grassroots movements coming up, and really like fighting as a rebel for a cause for the good of humanity and the collective. So conversations now can really lead to major turning points. Then what's a little bit more harder or harsh about this full moon is the opposition between Saturn and Mars. Neptune, of course, as well, but Saturn and Mars, they are the 2 malefics in astrology. So it is about assertion and hesitation. Also about passion, but being confused by your passion due to the opposition to Neptune as well. So Mars, it wants to act, but Saturn demands reality, and it can also restrain. And then Neptune blurs the line between reality and fantasy. And together, these aspects can create a lot of frustration, especially in relationships, especially in leadership roles, also in collaborative efforts, actually. So Mars rules Aries, so Saturn is is dispositing Mars. So Mars is coming into an opposition with Saturn, and Saturn is like, whoa, 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 you're not gonna say what I need to do right now. Saturn is debilitated in Aries, and there's also a foggy Neptune in the mix. It's gonna bring feelings of being stuck, doubting ourselves, especially doubting our own skills and doubting our own expressive, our own identity as well, with Mercury retrograde in Leo. It can actually show up as delayed decisions due to doubting. It can be about burnout, can be about feeling unsupported in partnerships as well. And in some cases, illusions are going to fall apart with what's going to be exposed with the Aquarius full moon right now. So wishful thinking, that might turn out a little bit sour during this time. And you might find yourself in a gridlock. We're also going to see political gridlocks. We're going to see a bigger emphasis on war, especially battles over water with Neptune and Mars in opposition as well. And the tension is going to rise in order for you to see and witness, and the energy is showing you actually where boundaries are too weak and where action has no support by others. And that can be a little bit difficult to manage. Then another aspect that we're seeing is the Mercury opposite Pluto. And like Pluto demands the truth. Mercury is about communication. Mercury is in the sign of Leo. It is exposing all the musicians, all the celebrities, all the leaders right now. Like, how many people in your environment did you see having a big Coldplay moment on screen? Like, this is it. And yeah, the combo of Pluto and Mercury, it is about digging up secrets, especially about leadership, especially about power. So yeah, very big revelations. And know that Mercury is about to turn direct on the 11th of August. So possibly very shocking truths that are going to shift our perspective entirely in regards to certain celebrities like P. Diddy. Think about the Epstein list. All these things are going to really come up during the next few days. And also think about the Aquarius new moon that happened in January of 2025. Mercury and Pluto were then conjunct, so on top of each other. And that was when questions were first seeded around information, around the media, around trust, around control. And now we're actually seeing the answers emerge. And that might be a little bit intense. So what happened in January? We had Trump and in his first days as president. So I know a lot of people had a lot of questions and were actually wishful thinking about changing something big, and no. Now we're actually seeing the answers emerge, and it is a bit intense. Definitely, if you know that they're like using your tax dollars to detain all of people who are actually innocent. So this is going to trigger a lot of themes about censorship, about betrayal, about manipulation. And it's going to hit the spotlight in the collective, but it can also really come up in your personal life, especially if you have any planets or angles around these first degrees of the fixed signs. So use this transit for mental clarity and also emotional courage. And if you've been afraid to speak or to face something, then this is really your moment to communicate with honesty and within power, and use your power in a good way, even if it rattles a few cages. Just know that this is an important chart because next year, the same time, during the full moon in Aquarius in 2026, Jupiter will be at 4 degrees of Leo, blowing all the things up that are actually being illuminated right now. So Jupiter will then aspect all of the outer planets around 4 degrees. So whatever comes up now, next year, same time, it will like all blow our minds due to Jupiter's presence. This is the in-between year. 2025 is wrapping things up. 2026 will be the start of our new world. And Jupiter is gonna like blow things up massively in August of 2026. Then another important thing is, of course, Uranus. That's now in Gemini. This is the ruler of the full moon. We also, of course, have Saturn. Saturn is conjunct Neptune in Aries. That's the other ruler. I've already touched a bit on that. But Uranus in Gemini at 1 degree is really activating revolutions in language and technology, transportation, and education as well. Uranus really forms key aspects, including trines to Mars, to Pluto, sextiles to Mercury, Saturn, and also Neptune. So the planetary setup is really sparking a very rapid mental evolution, both personally, but also collectively. Like, time is flying by so fast. Things are changing so fast. And in Gemini, Uranus really shakes up how we learn, how we share, how we think. So we're going to see some very, very fast developments in AI during this time. especially with the full moon in Aquarius. It is about communication platforms. Maybe a social media platform is going to go down. Can be about alternative media that is under attack. It can also be about censorship, decentralization are going to become major talking points. And we're going to experience sudden downloads and intuitive hits that feel like they came from nowhere. It's actually the future right now that is knocking on our front door. So very big shifts in thinking and radical new opinion and the urge to really speak your truth, no matter how disruptive it feels. So yeah, this transit, it is about liberating our mind and also unlearning what's outdated and really embracing the unexpected as well. So how can we really channel or really use this energy to our in a beneficial way? We really need to work with the air element. Aquarius is an air sign, full moon ruled by Uranus, this air. And also I forgot to mention with Uranus and Gemini that probably Palantir or some altman or like the dangers of AI and breakdowns in AI are going to come up massively as well. I know there's been a lot of layoffs because of AI replacing people. I think this full moon will illuminate that it's way too soon. And yeah, some people are gonna, some people who are on the brinks of losing their job are going to be reassured that it's not the time to implement AI just yet. We're going to see breakdowns in that, definitely. So for the rituals, just know, use the air element. It is mental, social, very visionary. So you need to write, speak, listen to music, intention setting around rewiring our belief system. Air element is about thought. It is about communication. The lunation is really about tapping into big ideas and also sharing them with others and with the collective. So you can write out what you're trying to release. You can write down which future you want to create. You can then burn it, of course. And also, just know that during this full moon, we cannot do it alone. We need to really surround ourselves with people and also, have fun with friends. Share your thoughts and ideas with your closest community, and maybe there can be a very big change in your friend group or your role within it happening. And a very big ritual that you can also do is actually a liberation ritual. So really write down all the labels, all the patterns, all the societal expectations that you're actually ready to release, especially those that totally block your sense of individuality or that are actually making you shrink into your truth in a social setting. That needs to be released. And a very good idea to do as well during this full moon is to create a future vision board. It's time to actually project your thoughts forward, and you can map out a new 5 years from now kind of plan, use images, affirmations, or even AI tools to really envision what your life would look like if you were like fully aligned with your soul's unique calling. Aquarius does govern the future and technology, so you can use digital tools to your advantage. And you can reflect on the question, what would my future self tell me to do today? You can also do a digital detox. Aquarius does rule technology. You can do a nervous system reset. Aquarius and Uranus rule the nervous system, so it might be very wise to spend some time away from your device. Come back into your body, really. You need to like remember that Aquarius connects us to the cosmic wisdom, but only when the body is safe or feels safe enough for the truth or to receive the truth. So you also can practice truthful observation. Really journal, where do I keep recreating the same relationship dynamics within my friendships? What social roles do I play that no longer feel true to myself? And what am I still doing out of obligation or out of fear of being misunderstood? And of course, the crystal for this full moon is the amethyst. And yeah, if you work with the air and element, you can also do some breath work, light some incense, sound healing to really like ground back into the body and really calm the nervous system are all very handy tools for that. So with that being said, we can start looking at the 12 signs. So if you don't know how to find your rising sign, I always suggest you first look at your rising sign, so your ascendant. Then you can look at your sun sign, of course. And then if you want to know it from an emotional perspective, you can look at your moon sign as well. But I do recommend looking at your rising and your sun sign. That's best. Plug in your birth details at astroseek.com. You can also use the site Astrodienst. Just like fill everything out, and the first big black line is your rising sign. So with that being said, we can start with my Aries sun, moon, or rising. You're gonna have an Aquarian full moon activating your 11th house of community, networks, long-term goals, your hopes, dreams, wishes, and also your friendships. So very big culmination moment in your social sphere, and also a time when friendship can shift. There can be a peak in collaborations. There can also be a vision for your future that actually comes into clearer focus. And it might also feel like something you've been working towards within a group, within a club, within an organization is like now completing or is now like ready to be released. The 11th house is also about online communities, online communication. If you want to go viral, or if you want to increase your audience or speak or say something online, that can have a very beneficial effect on you or for you. And you might also find yourself craving this deeper resonance with the people you surround yourselves with. There can be a feeling, you can feel an increasing allergic reaction to these shallow performative connections, and they can fall away very naturally. Let it happen if you feel that needs to happen. So of course, the ruler of this full moon, Uranus, is now moving into your 3rd house of thinking, speaking, writing, communication, learning, short distance trips, neighbors, and also siblings. So it is actually shaking up how you think, how you speak, and also how you connect with your local environment. So you might actually stumble into a very new online community, very unexpected. You can get invited to a local meetup. You might also feel inspired to speak out and about a very important cause in regards to the collective as well. There can be a lot of unexpected conversations. There can also be spontaneous learning opportunities that come out of nowhere, and they can actually help you rewire how you interact with your broader network. So information now really spreads fast. So just know to use your voice intentionally and in a good way. You're also likely reviewing who actually aligns with your vision for the future and who doesn't. So examine how your social identity supports or stifles your personal freedom. Are you surrounding yourself with people who reflect the person that you're becoming, or the person that you're actually trying to outgrow? So a good time to detach with love from groups or projects or plans that no longer match your evolving ideals, and also let your connections reflect your future and not your past. If we then look for you, very important for you, my dear Aries, Mars, your chart ruler, has now shifted into Libra and is making an opposition to Saturn and Neptune in your sign. So you're gonna really feel this. You can feel tired, drained, can even feel drained by certain family connections, even though Venus and Jupiter are meeting up in your 4th house. So that is blessings around the home, renovation, buying, mortgage, all these things can really come up. But yeah, Saturn, Neptune, they are actually oppositing each other, and that can create some frustrations in one-on-one connections. So just know if you're butting heads with people, and if you're feeling frustrated and drained, that it's maybe time for you to draw some boundaries. And Mars in the 7th house is about other people. These are other people's frustration that they are bringing into your life. So with Saturn retrograde in your sign, don't start downing yourselves. If people are frustrated, just give them time to cool off. Don't react to them, because otherwise it can really like blow up. So if you feel a little bit more tired, fatigued, burned out, just know it's because the Saturn Mars opposition, and of course with Neptune on top of that, that can create a little bit of confusion. Maybe you don't see the truth. Maybe you don't see, especially the truth about yourself. Other people can make you doubt yourselves. So maybe you need to go to some friend for some advice. Maybe a friend can have some liberating effect on you and shows you what the real truth is like. And then maybe they're gonna say you don't need to doubt yourselves. It is not your fault. So yeah, let me know how it's going for you, my dear Aries, with Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune in your sign. That can be a temporary, temporary setbacks, delays as well. Just know that there's a big kite pattern forming in the sky and it's pointing towards you. Definitely, if you're an Aries rising, that is like very, very big implicating, and like your local environment can shift unexpectedly. There can be unexpected shifts in friendships, even a lot of frustration in partnership coming up. Maybe some of you are gonna sever and cut some ties with some very close one-on-one connections, because Mars does tend to do that. Just know that it is meant to be, and that it's the planetary vibe that is actually causing a little bit of frustration. So Aries, be patient, don't blow up with other people, and if other people are frustrated, that's their problem. You with Saturn and Neptune in conjunct into your sign going retrograde, you need to draw some firmer boundaries. So I know you're capable of doing that. Good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon that is going to light up your 10th house of career, public life, long-term legacy, people in authority, one of your parents. So yes, it's actually spotlighting your visibility in the world. So if you've been building professionally, something might reach culmination or a big turning point that can come through some recognition, unexpected promotion, or some big redirection in your career. And if you felt a little bit uncertain about your role or your purpose, then this lunation is going to push you into greater alignment with your authentic calling. And it can actually even shake you out of a path that no longer fits you. So the modern day ruler of this full moon is Uranus, and it's currently transiting your 2nd house of money and finances and resources, and also self-worth. So it's actually suggesting that your career developments are, of course, directly tied to a very big revolution in how you earn, how you spend, how you value your own skills, and also how you present yourself professionally. So there can be unexpected incomes and unexpected shifts in that. There can be new sources of revenue. There can be a bold personal rebranding move that can actually change your entire game if you're self-employed. So it's actually your cosmic cue to break free from outdated definitions of success, and also allow more creativity and innovation into how you build your reputation. So are you working towards a vision of success that's still meaningful to you, or are you simply maintaining an old identity? You might feel both excited and a bit of anxiety as your public roles suddenly evolve. So let any friction really guide you towards something more aligned. And also know that success is not just about stability, it is about soul growth as well. And your value is very magnetic when you dare to redefine what success means to you. We also see a Mars-Saturn opposition, and that happens between house 12th and the 6th. So 12th is mental health, the 6th is physical health. Whenever Mars jumps into the 6th house, you need to be a little bit more careful with a burnout, with inflammation in regards to your physical body. And because it's oppositing Saturn in the 12th house, some underlying stress or some underlying tension in the subconscious might really come up for you guys. And that can create a sudden or like an unexpected breakdown in health. in an emotional subconscious things that are lingering, that are getting triggered as well. Just know that this is a temporary hiccup and you need to balance out your mental and your physical health during this lunation. So the guide pattern really points towards the 12th house. So some of you Tauruses are going to feel the need to withdraw a little bit more, to focus on spiritual practices and to like really ground yourself. If you lose some people in regards to your career, then that's normal. It's also the Saturn Mars opposition that is being at play right here, because whenever Saturn and Neptune dips into the 12th house, you can feel a big loss, but it's actually clearing out and yeah, moving you, or it's like taking another timeline. And 12th house is very mystical. A lot of things can get dissolved in the 12th house areas. So everything in regards to spirituality, loss, be careful, because the 12th house also rules the hospital. So yeah, be a bit more mindful with Mars in the 6th house of health. That can mean an increase in stress, and by that you can have a mental breakdown. But just focus on your career, focus on your income, and if you feel the need to rest, take a step back. We also see a Venus-Jupiter conjunction happening in your 3rd house. You can have a pleasant conversation, especially with neighbors, with siblings, or even something that you write that is infused with a lot of wisdom can gain a lot of traction. So really tap into the Venus-Jupiter conjunction during this full moon, and something you might write can have a very, very big positive effect in your career area as well. So good luck, my dear Taurus. Then we have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Aquarius, illuminating your 9th house of higher wisdom, philosophy. Can be about legal matters, long distance travel, foreign cultures, also about education. So yeah, it's going to bring revelations in regards to international affairs. Maybe something shifts in your limiting beliefs or in your belief in your mindset. Can also be in regards to a worldview that you've outgrown. So you can be finishing a course, preparing for a big journey. You can also come back from a journey. You can also reevaluate your life philosophy. And this lunation is really going to stretch your mind beyond its old boundaries. So expect sudden shifts or sudden insights that shift your perspective, and by doing that, possibly your whole life path and your whole future. And Uranus, the ruler of the full moon, is of course currently moving in your sign, in your first house of self and identity. So you're actually in the midst of a personal awakening. Your personality is evolving very, very fast, and so are your interests and beliefs, of course. So this might make you feel a little bit more rebellious and also more eager to actually break free from traditions or some labels that no longer fit you. The energy can also push you to express your truth very boldly, even if the challenge is what other people expect from you. So a big time to realign your outward image with your expanding inner world. It really challenges you to examine, are your beliefs still yours, or are they inherited ideas that you've outgrown? You're actually entering a season of intellectual liberation, and where your curiosity becomes your big inner compass. So let the restlessness inside of you really guide you towards something more meaningful. Whether that happens through travel, through study, through storytelling, just know that your next leap comes when you give yourself permission to explore in the world. So the world really expands the moment you stop asking for permission to think differently. We also see Saturn, Neptune, Mars opposition in between your 11th and your 5th house. So Mars in the 5th house is very, very good for doing sports. And also there's a lot of passion injected in the house of children and love and romance and creativity. But that can create a little bit of strife with certain roles you need to play within your friend group. Maybe how you start expressing yourself and this whole new shift that you're going through, it can be butting a little bit of heads with someone from your friend group. Maybe some friends are not going to be happy with this new type of expression that you are giving out. So just know that it's normal, it's a temporary hiccup. Mars in the fifth to really focus on sports, on having fun, and also, just in maybe connecting with a lover. Mars in the fifth can be very hot and feisty. So maybe channel the energy into the bedroom as well, so it doesn't blow up in your friend group. That can be an astrological remedy for this full moon. And also we see a Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your second house of resources and money. By shifting your belief set or your mindset with the full moon in the ninth house, that can have positive implications on how you earn money. So blessings in the house of income, in the house of value. Maybe you're going to shift something in your belief system and in which you are going to value yourself more, and maybe you're going to increase your prices, or maybe by learning something new, which is also connected to the ninth house, you can create a new stream of income. So blessings in the house of money. So enjoy that, my dear Gemini, and I wish you the best of luck. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Aquarius that is going to land in your 8th house of shared resources. 8th house is about intimacy, psychological transformation. It is about depth. It is about emotional, financial, and psychological entanglement with other people. So this brings a very deep emotional clearing. The 8th house, it is about hidden dynamics within closer relationships, especially involving money, trust, vulnerability. All these things are going to surface. So maybe you're going to need to resolve a financial agreement. Maybe you're paying off a long loan that is now finished. Maybe you're navigating emotional boundaries within a relationship. Just know that this lunation really is going to illuminate what you must release in order to reclaim your own inner power. The 8th house is very, very deep. It is very occult, very mystical. It is the house of the dead. So maybe you receive an occult message from a past or a deceased loved one. That is possible. The modern day ruler of the full moon, and this is also why I'm saying this about deceased people, is because Uranus in Gemini, it is currently moving through your 12th house, another very mystical, deep spiritual house. So the 12th is about the unconscious. It is about healing. It is about spiritual insight. It is about your spirit guides, spiritual practices, synchronicities, divine guidance, divine intervention. So very sudden things are shifting, and a very volatile energy is being projected into that house right now. So it really adds a very intuitive and almost like otherworldly element to your decision making right now. And some things might dissolve and you cannot fully grasp it, and you don't know why, and it's triggering some fears, but just know that it's normal. You might not be able to explain why you're actually ready to walk away from some draining relationships or some restructuring in financial agreements that needs to happen. You just know that it is time. Pay attention to sudden dreams, to these inner nudges, to your intuition, to synchronicities that can actually guide you towards major personal and also energetic breakthroughs. With these mystical houses implicated, wow, you can have very big, unexpected divine intervention. And psychologically, this full moon, it is about confronting your fears around dependency, about loss, about self-worth. You're actually learning to trust your inner compass, even when logic doesn't have all the answers. And financial shifts are very, very likely, but so are emotional or psychological ones. You're actually making space for more integrity, more depth, and also safety in how you share yourself with other people. So very important for you, my dear Cancer, is let go of what drains you, and also watch how much energy that you have left to build something lasting and to really dive into your own depths of your own soul. If we then look, we also see a Saturn-Mars opposition, and we see a whole kite in the sky that is pointing towards your MC, to your public role in the outside world. And there can be some hiccups happening in regards to that, especially in regards to family members, because Mars has just been entering Libra, or is about to today. Mars is about to shift into Libra, into your 4th house. So definitely frustration at home, frustration with the mother, frustration with family members, can even be something that breaks inside of the house. Makes the opposition to Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house. So all the shit that's been going on at home can make you feel unsure, or can make you doubt yourselves about your profession. You might need to juggle between showing up in your profession and having all this shit at home, and like, yeah, feeling a little bit torn between your role in the outside world and your role at home. So just know that it's a temporary hiccup. There is a very big kite aspect happening between the 8th house, between the 12th house. So definitely some things at home need to explode or need to come to a head in order for you to tap into the more mystical side of life. And you're gonna feel pushed by that, because you are gonna want to escape some frustrations within your emotion, and the only outlet is spiritual practices. Go visit a medium, they can help you. Go visit an astrologer, tap into the mystical side of life, because you're not going to gain any clarity about your direction in life, your direction in your career that you need to take right now. If there is some uncertainty revolving around that, it's the Saturn Neptune conjunction in the 10th house, and it will become fully exact in February 2026. So know that there can be some fogginess revolving around that. Some of you are also going to retire with that conjunction happening in March of 2026. So yeah, now is a preview. If you don't know where you're headed right now, don't worry. We have some very, very positive news for you as well, guys, because the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is actually happening in your sign. So the two benefics, Venus, law of money, having fun, Jupiter, expanding everything, wisdom. It's also a teacher. So you can have some teachings and some blessings about love, about money, and you're like a magnet. You're going to attract them very, very nicely, and you're not going to have to do anything for that. It just happens naturally. Know that whatever seed is being planted now around the 11th and the 12th of August, whenever this beautiful benefic conjunction happens in your sign, it's actually a seed that is about to blossom around the 8th of June 2026, because then we're going to have another Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and I think that will happen around 25 degrees of Cancer next year. So this is actually a story that continues in your sign. So it's been 12 years ago since we had this conjunction. Think back to what happened then, and if something stood out from that time, think about 12 years and 11 years ago. Something might reappear or re-emerge in regards to that. So I'm going to make a whole Jupiter-Venus conjunction within a few days, and I'm going to highlight it more deeper, and it's going to be very important for you to watch that as that happens in your sign. So enjoy the blessings. If something falls into your lap, even though the future is not clear, you're going to have to surrender to that. You're going to have to tap into the mystical side of life. Just meditate on the beautiful things in life, and you're gonna attract them very naturally. So even though nothing is clearly yet, be ready to receive the bountiful blessings of the cosmic energy that is gonna fall into your lap, and it's already palpable right now, but it's gonna really come to a head on the 11th and the 12th of August. So take a look at what happened. And Stain says, it's intense, I can tell. Yeah, I know you're Cancer rising. So yeah, it's for Stain, his beautiful conjunction is going to happen on his rising. So this is so beautiful for you, Stain. And hey, Inge. And Stain says, I am willing to receive. Yeah, all the Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising are going to have something beautiful happening. If it's on your rising sign, it can happen on all different parts of your life. If it happens on your Sun in Cancer, it's in regards to your career or in regards to your father or men in your life. It can also be good news regarding your fidelity. If it happens on the Moon, it will be in regards to your home, your family, or the mother. On the Sun can be in regards to the father. So good luck, my dear Cancer. We then have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The full moon is going to land directly in your 7th house of partnerships. So, yeah, the full moon in Aquarius on August the 9th is going to shine a very big, bold spotlight on your one-on-one connections, whether that's romantic, business, collaborative, a very close friend, an astrologer, a coach, a therapist. These people all fall into your 7th house. So yeah, perhaps there's a commitment that reaches a critical milestone. Some of you can break up during this month, or a big event happens in your partner's life. There can also be a pattern that can become undeniably clear in marriage, for example. And if you're probably going to be ready to let go of dynamics that no longer support your mutable growth. This lunation, of course, opposes the sun and Leo in your 1st house. So it's about balancing your personal identity with the needs and the truths of another person. You can definitely notice restlessness in your partner, in your very close one-on-one relationships. The modern day ruler of this full moon, it is Uranus, and it is in Gemini, and it is moving through your 11th house of friendship. So double emphasis on friends right now for you guys. Aquarius on the cusp of the 7th house, Uranus in the 11th house. Aquarius is related to the 11th house, so there's a big intertwinement here between friendships and lovers. Some lovers are going to turn into friendships. Some friendships can turn into lovers during this time. So the 11th house, it is about goals, invisible networks, the social sphere. It really suggests that changes in your larger social sphere are actually directly influencing your close relationships and vice versa. So maybe your friend group helps you to see a partner in a new light. A friend becomes a lover. The people around you could reflect what you're truly craving in intimacy. That is more authenticity, more freedom, and a more future-minded connection. And also know that relationship structures that feel too rigid or too performative might begin to crack during this time. And it's inviting you to redefine what partnership truly means to you. So psychologically, it calls you to confront outdated stories about love, about attachment, about needing to carry the emotional weight for other people. You are not trapped in current dynamics. You are being asked to get radically honest about what's working in partnerships and what isn't. And with Mercury retrograde on top of that in your sign, the real relationship work really begins with self-inquiry. So it's about who are you becoming, and can your partnerships evolve with you? You might feel like you need more freedom. We also see a Mars, Saturn, Neptune opposition, and that is happening in the 3rd and the 9th house. So there's some friction between your belief system and your mind. So the 3rd house is the mind. When Mars comes into the 3rd house, it can set your mind on fire. Opposing Saturn and Neptune in the 9th house, the 9th house is like the higher mind. So there can be some friction, there can be some tension, especially in the facts and what you know is true versus higher wisdom. Maybe you're learning something and you can like feel that that's no longer aligned with you, or that's not the full truth. Saturn and Neptune in the 9th are like totally rewiring your mindset. And if you do want to go on trips, whether that's short distance trips or long distance trips, that is going to create some frustration, some delay, some refrain, some block. Just know that you might need to calculate some extra time whenever you go on the road or whenever you try to take a plane right now. Just know that even other cultures might feel stifling, might feel refraining. And the Mars in the third house can also give some troubling conversations, some heated conversations in your local environment with siblings, with neighbors as well. Just know that that's a temporary influence. Be careful of burnout in the mind by like overheating everything. And yeah, if someone wants to, just be careful that you're not too aggressive with words right now. We do, however, see a very beautiful, beneficial Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and that is happening in your 12th house. So you might enjoy a lot of time spent alone. You might need to withdraw a little bit, connect with spirit guides. You can have beautiful messages, synchronicities, and dreams. Far away, distant. You can gain money if you're working online with faraway countries as well. There can be some revenue coming forth from that with Venus and Jupiter conjunct in the 12th house. Just know that it's a beautiful time to connect with your spirit guides. There can be some beautiful, unexplainable mysteries, divine synchronicities, all happening in your life right now. So enjoy that, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The full moon in Aquarius is going to light up your 6th house of health, daily routines, your 9-to-5 job, your habits, your wellness, your co-workers, and also your pets. So a very big moment of closure or reorganization, and actually how you care for your body and also how you manage your work life. Can be in completing a project at work with your colleagues. It can be receiving some test results in regards to your health and something get exposed or eliminated by that. You can also finalize some long-standing health issues because Mars has just been going through Virgo with the South Node. Finally, Mars is about to enter Libra and is going to leave Virgo. So there can also be a culmination in health issues. So I hope that's the case. So you're also going to realize that your daily rhythms no longer serve you. And this lunation is going to mark a very big pivot point in how you structure your everyday reality. So if you have these daily systems that are all outdated, it is time to let them go. No. So the modern ruler of this full moon, it is Uranus, and it is in Gemini, and it's currently moving through your 10th house of career status, public responsibility, authority persons, can be one of the parents, especially the father. And there's a big emphasis on work for you guys because there's a full moon in the 6th and Uranus is in the 10th, which are both work houses. If you want to end a job, want to find a new job, like this is your time right now. Uranus in the 10th is creating a lot of upheaval, a lot of volatile energy in your career sphere. And with a full moon in the 6th house, it can also be that a coworker leaves your job or leaves at work. And there's again volatile energy in the 10th house. There can also be a new coworker coming in, helping you balance out all the hiccups in the career area as well. So it depends on your own natal chart, but definitely a big emphasis on career. It's going to spark breakthroughs in your professional life. Can be a sudden job change. There can be a shift in leadership at work as well. Maybe a sudden shift in boss. There can also an inspiration to really pursue something less conventional. You're actually being asked to reimagine what success looks like, one that honors your time, your energy, and also your well-being. Mercury is retrograde in the 12th house as well. You might feel the urge to step back, to unplug, to reevaluate your long-term strategies in solitude about your job. Break free from perfectionism, also productivity for the sake of it. Your nervous system, your body, and also your spirit might be asking to rebalance. And if you've outgrown a certain type of schedule, a job, this is actually your signal to realign. Also know that rest is not weakness. It is making time to tap into the universal wisdom and maybe come to a conclusion or a solution as well. So when you release the grind or the daily grind that drains you, space actually opens up for the work that truly uplifts you. We also see a Saturn Mars opposition happening between the financial houses. So Mars is leaving your sign, thank God, finally, and it's dipping into your second house of finances, self-worth, your streams of income. So be careful with impulsive spending because it's making an opposition to Saturn and Neptune in the eighth house. Maybe you need to be careful with investments. Maybe you feel refrained. Maybe you encounter some kind of loss in money due to impulsive spending. So be careful for that. Mars and Saturn opposition, and also Neptune in the eighth house can dissolve investments. It can dissolve inheritance. It can be some temporary hiccups or frustration in regards to money. Also, be careful about your partner handling your finances. There can be some issues with that as well. On the positive side, we see Jupiter-Venus conjunction in your 11th house of friendships, of networks. So yeah, maybe don't stress about work. Make time for friends. You cannot do it alone. You are receiving the full blessings in your social sphere, in your network. Maybe if you're single, you might meet a new partner in your friendship circle. Maybe or maybe someone introduces you, a friend can introduce you to someone, or maybe you end up bumping into someone new that becomes a really close friend, and it's based on mutual wisdom, on sharing knowledge, on feeling happy, content, enjoying the finer things in life together with your friends. That is the Jupiter Venus conjunction. And the 11th, invite some friends over at home. It isn't a sign of Cancer. When you invite friends at home, you can have a very, very benevolent time with them together. So don't stress out. Full moon in the 6th. It is about stress. Full moon is about release. Release overworking, release overburning. Have some time with your friends. So good luck, my dear Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Aquarius landing in your 5th house of joy, creativity, romance, pleasure, self-expression. So yeah, it's igniting a very powerful moment of an emotional release of joyful culminations. So you might complete a project that you're very passionate about. You might make a very bold romantic move. You might feel called to revisit something that once lit you up from the inside out. So it's time to reconnect with what makes you feel alive, reconnect to the inner child. It reminds you that the pleasure is not a luxury, it is actually your birthright. So can also be, it can mark a very important moment in the lives of your children as well. The ruler of this full moon, it is in Gemini, and it is of course Uranus, and it is in your 9th house of travel, belief, and higher education. Really encouraging you to broaden your worldview through adventure, through learning, through spontaneous experiences, maybe in regards to another culture. And there's a trine to Mars in your 1st house. So very, very important. There's a big air trine. You can have very sudden, unexpected new ideas that can reshape your whole identity and how you express yourself or present yourself to the world. Just be careful to not unleash your frustrations onto your partner or vice versa. Uranus. The trine to Mars in your 1st house makes this a very deep personal shift. It is not just thinking about what brings you joy. You're gonna have to actively chase it with Mars, this action. So for some, it could indicate or involve a creative retreat. It could also involve falling for someone abroad overseas, or maybe launching something artistic with a big message behind it. So stop waiting for others to give you permission to be happy. Saturn and Neptune in the 7th, other people can block you a little bit. You might feel a little bit torn between your needs and those of others, which you already naturally inherit as Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So your happiness is actually your responsibility, and you are not responsible for other people's happiness. Channel your inner leader, claim your desire, and stop downplaying your dreams and your needs. When you lead with joy, the world adjusts its orbit around your light. And that is now with Mars in your sign, you are having access to the energy to do that. So fight for justice, fight for harmony, fight for balance. And if other people are blocking you in that way, maybe it's time to let them go, focus on joy, and have some good times with friends from the past. Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, you're going to reconnect with old friends for sure. And it's going to peak on the 11th of August whenever Mercury goes back direct. And something else that's very positive is this their Venus-Jupiter conjunction happening in your 10th house and the career sphere. So you can have very positive news. If you're self-employed, there can be an increase in work and increase in clients. There can also be good news coming forth from a boss, also from a parent, maybe your mother, maybe your father. It's intertwined here with the 10th house ruling the father and Cancer ruling the mother. But definitely good news that is gonna implicate something in your career, but also at home, can be connected to each other. Definitely if you work from home, then that is a very, very positive sign for me to see. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Libra. And just draw some firm boundaries with the Mars-Saturn opposition and Neptune. How other people can really create some confusion in your life. Just know that you need to tap into the the grand air trine. You need to like tap into joy and also into maybe traveling and gaining some new higher wisdom in regards to other foreign cultures that can really rewire your belief system as well. And by that, it flows beautifully to the strength that is being injected in your own identity, in your sign. Mars is in your sign. Just, fight for justice and balance, and don't let other people refrain your energy, or don't let them get you down. Full moon in the 5th, it is about joy, it is about expression. If you want to do something online, that is also very beneficial. With Mercury retrograde in the 11th, the sun is in the 11th, full moon in the 5th. Be yourself online, grow your audience. If you're self-employed, there is increase in that. Uranus in the 9th, sudden insights in regards to your belief system, a whole rewiring, and this can be a very creative new moon for you, in which you have a lot of new ideas that can be implemented and that can actually liberate you in a way, bigger way. Mercury retrograde kicking in. Okay, good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have the Aquarian full moon landing in your 4th house of home, roots, ancestry, inner security, emotions. And it's actually shining a big light on your most deep personal foundations. This is going to bring domestic changes. It can be moving house, can be ending a lease, can be about confronting family patterns, can also be redefining where and how you belong to, or where you belong to. And something in your private world is really ready to be released, be transformed, especially if you've been holding onto these emotional attachments that no longer feel safe or supported. Then the ruler of this full moon is, of course, Uranus, and it's in Gemini, moving through your 8th house of shared resources, psychological depth, transformation, really indicating that whatever is shifting on the home front is very deeply intertwined with financial partnerships, emotional, psychological entanglements with others. It can also be about trauma. There can be a very big surprise. It can be even a surprise expense. Can be issues with inheritance, volatile energy regarding that. Sudden volatile energy and the income of your partner. Uranus in the 8th house can really shake up your shared finances. There can also be an emotional breakthrough that is going to trigger necessary action. Mars is, of course, in your 12th house. It is trining Pluto in your 4th and Uranus in the 8th. So there can be some very big solutions, revelations, secrets, breakthroughs in how you need to handle money. Can be divine guidance from up above. But definitely with Pluto in the 4th, it's going to eliminate some long hidden family secrets. And with the trine to Uranus, it can be quite shocking, actually. So yeah, a little bit of upheaval can definitely happen. And also you're being actually invited with a big air trine to confront and release these unconscious patterns of control, suppression, family ties, family karma, obligation, and loyalty towards the family, and yeah, especially all the patterns that are like passed down through family lines. This lunation is gonna hit deep. It's gonna pressure on some core wounds, and it's going to trigger some emotional self-protection, and also yeah, the gift here is actually awareness. Once you see the pattern, you can break free from it, and this is what the full moon in Aquarius is all about. Very soul deep changes, revelations, breaking free. You're actually learning that home is not always a place. It's actually a feeling that you have to build within yourself. So clear the roots, and your foundation will finally have the strength to support who you're becoming right now. On top of that, we're seeing a Saturn-Mars opposition happening in your 12th and your 6th house. So you need to balance out mental and physical health. Very, very important. Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the 6th can definitely bring up some long chronic health issues. Mars in the 12th, it's firing up all these unconscious patterns as well. Yeah, take some rest if you need to. And you can actually project a lot of passion and energy into working behind the scenes. Maybe you're gonna need to just channel this hot burning energy of Mars in a place of solitude. Mars in the 12th can definitely stir up dreams and sleeping cycles. If you are having some more nightmares, then that's definitely the reason why. So rest, cancel. Saturn, Neptune in the 6th can bring up long chronic issues in regards to your health, or in regards to the job that you're doing, or in your schedule, or with your colleagues, and there can be some issues coming up in that, so be mindful. Then on the positive side, we see Venus and Jupiter in your 9th house. So if you were to travel abroad right now, that might be very bountiful. You can have blessings that you're going to receive overseas in regards to other cultures. If you want to move abroad, that can actually be a very, very big theme right now, because full moon in the 4th, releasing a home, Venus, Jupiter in the 9th can be finding luck and bountiful energy somewhere abroad, and it's in the sign of Cancer, the place of residence as well. Maybe your mother lives abroad and you go visit her, but a full moon in the 4th usually means leaving the home in some kind of way, or renovating, or like buying or selling a home is also a very big possibility here, especially with the grand air trine as well. So 9th house is also religion, it's philosophy, it is a mindset, something new that you learn, study, or dive into. Can be metaphysical. With Jupiter in the 9th, you're gonna receive big blessings if you travel or if you engage in some kind of new knowledge. So dip into that, and don't be surprised by the financial hiccups that can be related to your home. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have a full moon in Aquarius, activating your 3rd house of communication, ideas, contracts, siblings, local environment, and it can really bring up very important conversations and documents. So if you want to launch a podcast, maybe finalize some contract, complete a writing project, or even have this long overdue conversation or talk with someone close to you, just know that your voice matters now more than ever. Expect mental downloads, spontaneous clarity, or some meaningful synchronicities around the way that you share your truth, and also the way how you connect with other people in your local environment. The ruler of this full moon is Uranus, and it's currently moving through your 7th house of one-on-one relationships. And it's actually shaking up the way how you relate to your partners, to your audience, to your clients, to your collaborators, to your business partners. So you might experience a sudden development in your love life. Can be a breakup for sure with Uranus, and having to finalize some contracts in regards to that, but also know that there can be some surprising insights coming forth from others. There can also be a sense that you're no longer on the same wavelength with someone that you once trusted very deeply. This energy, it isn't meant to break things down without a reason. It is meant to actually liberate you from communication patterns that no longer match who you are becoming. So it pushes you to consider, are your words building bridges or are they reinforcing walls? Mercury retrograde really warns that miscommunications are possible, and Mercury is going to station direct in the 9th house on the 11th of August. So definitely some big reassessment of your belief systems. So yeah, very, very, you need to speak with intention. And with Venus, and also, we see a Venus-Jupiter meeting in your 8th house. Jupiter is, of course, your chart ruler. So that is actually very, very beneficial. And also know that it is about shared resources and emotional entanglements with Venus, Jupiter, the two benefics in your 8th house, and you're actually undergoing a deeper transformation around trust, around intimacy, around money. And there can be a very big financial or emotional turning point that could bring a lot of relief, a release, or also a reinvestment. And it's definitely going to be in regards to other people and in regards to past contracts that you've signed. Can even be about some connected to something abroad as well. However, we also do have a Mars-Saturn opposition. So Mars is opposing Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are in your 5th house. Whenever Saturn enters the 5th house, there can be a stifling of fun and joy and feeling like you can't relax, or the feeling that you can't have a good time. There's a pressure on your shoulders. You feel like you need to, you feel like you need to work all the time, that there is little time for fun. And with Mars in the 11th house, there can be some issues between friends and your individual self-expression, or even friends that are acting angry for the way how you express yourself in the 5th house. Maybe they want to refrain that, and there can be some confusion about who you are, who you need to display, how you need to display who you are in regards to your friends, and there can be some tension and frustration in your friend group. Just focus on the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the 8th. Look at past investments. Maybe you need to take a chunk off because you have a big of rendement. You have a big return on investment. And also know that Venus-Jupiter in the 8th can have a very positive effect on your partner's income. But be careful. Jupiter is your chart ruler. Whenever it enters the 8th house, money can come flying in but fly out as fast as well. So be mindful about that. But good luck, my dear Sagittarius. And Tom says, hi Tom, hi Astrid, you're absolutely right about work-related shiftings as a Virgo. I noticed it this week. Yeah, really, Tom, as soon as Uranus shifted into the 10th house for Virgo, I'm a Virgo rising, like my job and my work, like I work 19 hours at a different job, and it's been a constant chaotic upheaval, misunderstandings, people leaving, people joining, then leaving, and like, oh my god, it's been a lot with Uranus in the 10th, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I definitely understand that you're noticing that as well, Tom. Thank you for sharing that. we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have a full moon that is gonna land in your second house of income, money, possessions, self-worth, personal value, self-esteem, stability. A very defining moment around money and also how you spend your money and how you look at your possessions and your resources. So a financial cycle is coming to a head, maybe a long anticipated payment, maybe the completion of a job, maybe a decision about how you earn your living is going to come up, but it's more than that. It's about reclaiming your worth and also setting these new standards for what you will and will not accept financially, emotionally, energetically. The ruler of this lunation, Uranus, is in Gemini. It is electrifying your sixth house of daily duties, work, 9 to 5 job, your habits, your health, and well being. So there can be, or this full moon, it might suggest an unexpected shift in your job. Maybe you want to change up your routine. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you want more freedom. Maybe you're overburdened. Can be a shift in your schedule with your coworkers or even your role in it itself. So you might be embracing more freelance work. Maybe you want to launch a side hustle so you have more variety in your job. Maybe you want to pivot to something that gives you more freedom in general. Uranus is, of course, trining Pluto in your second house. So it is more than just a quick win. It is a very deep structural shift in your entire value system. You're actually learning to get paid for being yourself. And by being yourself, you can increase your money and your finances as well. So the only part is this lunation, it is intertwined in a kite aspect, and there's an opposition between Mars and Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house, Mars at your 10th house. There's a big air trine between Pluto, Uranus, and Mars, all in work houses. So this full moon, it is all about work and money and changing something, especially if you're self-employed as well. Something can really shift in that. You can have new ideas. But the whole kite with Mars blasting it off with Saturn and Neptune in the fourth house, there can definitely be a tug of war between wanting to project a lot of desire and passion into yourself or in your own business versus feeling stifled and refrained and stuck at home or within family or with people you live with together. So yeah, the fourth house, it can feel like there's an emotional fog rolling in from your past or within your home life. You might be dealing with stress in the family, some confusion around where you truly belong. There can also be an exhaustion of carrying too much behind closed doors. And that is manifesting as like frustration in the career area as well. Maybe it's just all a bit too much. And you might have noticed that my last reports for Capricorn rising are a bit longer than for other signs. And that is especially due to Capricorn rising. The ruler of Capricorn is, of course, traditionally Saturn, but also modern ruler Saturn, traditionally Uranus as well. So Saturn squares the rising. That is one. We have Neptune squaring the rising. That is two. We have Uranus in conjunct Capricorn rising as well. So all these outer planets are actually bullying a bit of the Capricorn rising. So I know they are going through a bit of a tougher time, especially with the chart ruler at the EC, at the most vulnerable part of the chart. So your worth is not tied to your ability to carry everyone's load. You need to redefine your boundaries, especially at home. Emotionally, financially, you empower yourself to build a new foundation from the ground up. Some Capricorn risings can deal with the feeling like they have to start all over again. Just know that there's something very beautifully happening, and that is Venus and Jupiter are conjuncting in your seventh house of marriage, relationship, business collaborators, coaches, therapists, an astrologer. All these people can bring bountiful blessings into your life right now. So that's happening on the 11th and the 12th of August. So whatever is happening around that time, whatever gift is landing on your lap, enjoy it. Some single Capricorn risings might really meet their long-term partner. If you're already married, you can have a bountiful, happy time in marriage as well. Or maybe you meet someone new that is gonna be giving you more freedom, sharing more knowledge. Just know that this is a very, very beneficial conjunction that is happening within long-term connections. So you might actually really encounter someone new that is going to become very, very close to you. So focus on that. If work gets a little bit too rough, just have a good time with your wife or your husband, or make some time to maybe meet someone new. So good luck, my dear Capricorn. And also know, Capricorn, that like real power really comes from knowing what you value and your own value, and you need to stop apologizing for claiming that you are worth it. With Saturn and Neptune on your EC, you might feel a little bit confused, but that's okay. You need to surrender and just know that everything will be all right. So good luck. Okay, we have the star of today's show, and that is Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have the full moon in your sign, and this really marks a very deeply personal culmination period. Might be a little bit more emotional than you're used to, because the full moon happens at the 16th degree, and that is actually a Cancer degree. Normally, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising are a little bit more detached from their feelings. But now, because it happens at 16 degrees, it might be a little bit more emotional than you're used to. So the first house is about the self, the body, the identity, the character that you play in the outside world. You're most likely going to feel a little bit emotionally exposed, but also you're going to be more honest and awake than you've been in the past few months. So something about who you are, how you present yourself, or what you need is coming into full focus, and it's actually time to own it right now. Maybe you're going to redefine your style, maybe you're going to assert new boundaries, maybe you're going to shed an old version of yourself. This lunation is really about radical self-acceptance. So be yourself, be this beautiful weirdo in the world. Think outside of the box. We really need that right now. So your ruler, Uranus, is currently traveling through your fifth house. Fifth house is about creativity, joy, romance, personal expression. It really suggests that there's a wave of unexpected excitement that can come forth from this moon. It can be so exciting that you start to cry. So you could feel like a jolt of inspiration. Maybe that's creatively, maybe that's romantically. Can even be about a child or a personal creative project. The urge to express your truth boldly is very, very strong, even stronger than other times, especially with Pluto also in your sign. So there's just a little trick. Not every impulse needs to become a big grand statement. Saturn, your traditional ruler, is retrograde in your third house of thought and speech. So you're actually learning that what you say and how you say it has real consequences. So pause, reflect, and then you can speak very powerfully. And the full moon can trigger a bit of a tug of war between your spontaneous self and the strategy that you need to follow. So you're actually craving fun, but you're also very aware of the limitations. Emotionally, financially, Mercury has been going retrograde through your seventh house. It's going to go direct on the 11th of August. So yeah, communication issues with partners or within key relationships are going to resurface, and it's reminding you to not assume the worst, and that there's also beauty in your emotional honesty, but only if it's grounded in self-awareness. So reclaim your identity, not by reacting, but by choosing presence. It is your big rebirth, and it can also be part of your rebellion right now. We also, however, know this in a position between Saturn, your traditional ruler and also Neptune. They are conjunct in the third house. There can be some fog, some restraint around communicating, and it's making opposition to Mars in the ninth house. So be careful about getting hurt if you're making a long distance journey. But Mars in the ninth can also be some disagreements with people, or like some kind of guru or teacher of mentor, or people who do not agree with your with how you view the world. So be careful about not getting into an argument about philosophy, about your belief system, about your values, about travels, long distance travel. There is a big kite that is pointed towards the third house, so you might feel a little bit stuck at home. You might feel that your local environment is a little bit stifling. Some want to break free, and Mars in the ninth is really like setting off this whole kite, and you are like implicated because Pluto is part of the kite, and it's in your ninth, in your first house, trining Mars in the ninth. So there's a very big air trine between your identity, between traveling and the rewiring of the mindset, and also having fun. So tap into that creative self-expression power, rewire your limiting beliefs, and also you look on the future. And by that, you're like recreating your whole identity, and it's like a very big air trine. These things are going to come by itself. So make good use of that power. If you want to go study abroad or learn or have some fun abroad, just be mindful of some frustrations while you travel. That can happen. Definitely long distance, but also short trips as well. The beautiful thing is that there's a Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and it is happening in your sixth house. I think, honestly, it's the less... Allez, it's one of the lesser good placements of Jupiter and Venus in the sixth, because the sixth is the house of work, it's the house of stress, it's the house of health. Very positive. If you have been going through some health issues, that Venus-Jupiter can resolve them, can make them a lot better. Be careful for overeating. If you are encountering some stress, don't go binge eating, because then it can have a negative effect on your health. Apart from that, maybe a co-worker helps you finish something in time. Can also be a very beautiful time to call in a new pet, a new dog, a new cat. You can share a lot of love with them. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. And that is so cool, Stain, that you've noticed that. The synchronicity for Aquarius, that is beautiful. And hi, Rita. Then, last but not least, my beautiful Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Aquarius that is going to land in your 12th house of solitude. So it's about rest, healing, release. Slow down, listen deeply. You might feel unusually sensitive, emotional. You might feel sleep deprived. Maybe you just want to sleep all day. Maybe you're going to feel emotionally raw. Know that it's not weakness, it is wisdom that is rising from the unseen world. Something inside of you is actually surfacing, asking to be seen. 12th house is also the house of final endings. So because it's a full moon, some unconscious patterns can finally be laid to rest. So can be about old baggage, buried fears. There can be a big spiritual insight really whispering from the edges of your subconscious or your consciousness, that you're actually being called to process very quietly what your body and dreams already know. So take some rest. And the ruler of the full moon, it is Uranus, and it is currently traveling through your fourth house. So this full moon, it is behind the scenes, it is retreat, it is the unconscious, the things you cannot fully grasp. And because it's connected to the fourth house, it's going to bring unpredictable shifts to your home, to your family, to your sense of emotional security. Maybe you're going to be pushed to move, to renovate, to maybe set boundaries with family. Maybe you're going to want to break free from a place that's no longer aligned. But here's the real shift. It is like not just about where you live, but it's about how your nervous system feels when you're there. Uranus, Aquarius, they rule the nervous system. Even need to like really work on building a safe space within the home. You really desire a deeper need for emotional safety, and that also means decluttering these toxic patterns from your roots and from your ancestors. Neptune and Saturn are currently going retrograde through your second house. So you're also reimagining your self-worth, your money and self-esteem are very intertwined now. You're also learning that freedom sometimes costs a lot, but it's worth every penny. And there's also a push and pull dynamic happening between Mars in your 8th house and Saturn and Neptune going retrograde in the second. So part of you wants to fight and prove yourself or solve some kind of financial issue with a lot of action and urgency, but Saturn reminds you that you are your own foundation, that your worth doesn't hinge on productivity or outside validation. And instead, you need to trust the beauty of the Jupiter-Venus conjunction that is happening in your 5th house. You are having the best Venus-Jupiter conjunction out of all the signs. With this, you can have the date of your life. You can meet a person that you truly the chemistry can be through the roof. You can be truly attracted to them. It can be love at first sight. I'm not gonna lie. So the 5th house is the house of fun. It can also very beautiful happening in the lives of your kids. The 5th house is also the house of speculative investments. So maybe you need to buy a lottery ticket. You have an increased chance of winning something. Just be mindful about Mars in the 8th house. Don't borrow any money to your partner. Your partner can lose or can be the source of some loss of money. So be careful about that, because Mars is the instigator of the very big, beautiful kite pattern that appears here in the chart, and it's pointing directly towards Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house. So money issues might be a little bit tense, especially with partners. But if you were to buy a lottery ticket, Venus, Jupiter in the 5th house of speculative investments can really indicate a gain in that. So that is actually very, very beautiful. It's actually hinting at joy that is returning through love, through creativity, through romance, through children, and you're actually on the verge of a very soulful expansion, but it begins with releasing what clutters your inner world. So with the full moon in the 12th, take the sacred pause. What's dissolving now is actually clearing space for the eclipse that we're gonna have on the 7th of September. Then we're gonna have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, guys. So this is like really preparing you for that moment in time. So trust your timing, and the shift you feel is your higher self already moving in or coming in right now. So yeah, we're gonna have one new moon in the sign of Virgo, and then in September we're gonna have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces in your sign, guys. So that is gonna be huge for you. So good luck, my dear Pisces. So that was it for today. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm gonna do a Jupiter-Venus conjunction for each of the 12 signs soon, because the 11th and the 12th of August are really gonna be one of the best days, astrologically speaking, of the entire year. So we need to make good use of that energy. I think I'm gonna do the video on Friday. So stay tuned, hit the bell button below if you want to receive a notification. And thank you, Rita. Also, thank you, Stain. Thank you guys for showing up every time. I'm very grateful for your presence here. So yeah, enjoy this full moon in Aquarius. Don't get overwhelmed by the chaos. Look at the intergalactic beings that are currently entering our solar system. Be excited about that. We're going to see a whole paradigm shift. Also in regards to Egypt, ancient Egypt, goddess Isis and Osiris, and the Jupiter-Venus conjunction happening at this fixed star, Sirius star. So yeah, a lot of very interesting things are about to happen. So thank you all so much, and I will see you back soon. Bye-bye.